Hey everyone, Couch Investor back to another video for today. First of all, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year's to all my viewers. I hope you're all having a wonderful time. Now, today's video will focus on Rocket Lab. If you've been a fan of space, if you've been a fan of SpaceX, you know what this company is. But if not, I'll have a small introduction right now, and then we're going to obviously compare why some say that this might be the next best thing when it comes to investing in a space company. Of course, SpaceX, being in a league of their own, is currently private. Starlink is currently private as well, so you cannot invest in that. Although I did make a video 2 years ago about ways you could indirectly invest in SpaceX. That video will be in the top right corner. Now, Rocket Lab. So the company identifies itself as a sort of one-stop shop when it comes to space business. It specializes in launch services, satellite manufacturing, and software used on the spacecraft. The company works closely with government contractors as well as the private sector. Now, according to some analysts, this space economy is expected to reach $1 trillion by 2030. So of course, if you look at Rocket Lab today, revenue and the market cap, it's still a very, very small player, and you can say that it is still very early days. Now, since this is a business where you have to prove yourself before companies, governments start to trust you, you're going to burn a lot of cash. We've seen this with SpaceX as well. At the start, you're going to see your rockets blow up. Now, when rockets blow up, basically your money is burning right in front of your eyes. But it's not only that, you might be losing trust for some customers as well. You have to wait for new approvals from the FAA, which is something that we've seen not so long ago with Rocket Lab as well. There was a failure in the launch, some delays, but more recently they had a successful launch. They said that the failure was just a thing that was out of their control and one-time thing. And to be honest, you have to trust them because the 40 times they launched successfully before, that didn't happen. So again, you're dealing here with a industry that if anything small goes wrong, even if it's out of your control, expect the stock, if it's a publicly traded company, expect the stock to take a hit. Because yes, delays will cost any company in that space, no pun intended, a lot of money. Now, I've talked about a lot of companies, yes, because there are a lot of players in the, let's call it, space exploration business. You've got aerospace and defense contractor companies such as Boeing, Lockheed Martin, L3Harris, stuff like that. And then you have more direct competitors such as SpaceX, Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, Astra Space. Those types of companies are more direct competitors. But if you're looking for a good track record, then yes, I think that Rocket Lab is second place right now. Now, it's second place, but it's also not really currently directly in competition with SpaceX. Because SpaceX Falcon 9, for example, is much bigger than the current rocket that Rocket Lab is using. The more successful one, Electron, is a more smaller one. But the next one, Neutron, should compete directly with Falcon 9. Now, of course, that's great, but it still needs to be a proven rocket, which again, like I said, there is a lot of risk attached to that. There's a lot of capital expenditures attached to that as well. And then again, you are competing with the Falcon 9, which SpaceX has been using for years and years, which is also why that they are now testing and building the Starship. And if Starship becomes extremely successful, you're just continuing to play catch up here. So again, the comparison here, SpaceX to the rest, just doesn't make any sense. Put that off the table. Yes, SpaceX right now is apparently worth $180 billion. Privately, of course. But it has Starlink. And Starlink is now connecting more than 2.3 million people in over 70 countries. And if you do some simple math here, 2.3 million times the $120 that you're paying, that's over $3 billion currently revenue per year and growing quite fast. This is definitely far, far away from all the other space competitors. Now, before I continue, if you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and of course, do share your thoughts on Rocket Lab down in the comments below. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get a top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. Now, One thing here, when they announced the Neutron rocket, which was, by the way, back in 2021, Elon Musk seems to be pretty supportive of that move. Of course, he joked here a little bit because it does look like the Falcon 9. So looks familiar, haha, nonetheless, the right move. Congrats to Rocket Lab. And if we look at the overview of the Neutron, you can see that the payload to LEO is 13,000 kilograms. So that is still smaller than a Falcon 9. But if you go to the cost per pound aspect here, they are trying to compete directly with the Falcon 9. They're saying it's going to cost between $50 to $55 million or so. I believe the Falcon 9 is closer to $65, $69 million. So again, if it is successful, of course, great for Rocket Lab. But right now, it's still in the testing phase and it's going to take a while, going to take some money as well. 2024 should be an exciting year for the development of that specific rocket. But currently, if you're looking at this from an investment standpoint, you also have to know that this company is currently burning some cash. Cash and cash equivalents for the latest quarter, $141 million. That's down $100 million from a year ago. If you look at cash flow from operating activities, net loss increased by around $34 million. But after all the accounting magic that you can see here, net cash used in operating activities, $56.6 million of a loss, which is a smaller loss than a year ago by $30 million. Now, more recently, there was great news that came Rocket Lab's way, and especially for its investors, which saw the stock jump over 20%. What was that? Well, a huge contract landed on their lap. Rocket Lab National Security entered into an agreement with the United States government customer, we don't know who that is, to design, manufacture, deliver, and operate 18 space vehicles. The contract with the customer has a total value of $515 million, which includes a base amount of $489 million and incentives and options totaling $26 million. Work under the agreement will begin immediately with the delivery of the space vehicles to the customer for launch slated 2027, operation of the satellites through 2030, and an option to operate the satellites through 2023. Now, again, this is great, but it remains to be seen when they will recognize all of that revenue. Now, why is this a big deal? Well, it is a big deal because when you currently look at the revenue generated from Rocket Lab for Q3, that was $68 million for that quarter, an increase of 9% quarter over quarter. And then if you look at the backlog in Q3 was $582 million, which also means that the new contract that they just got is almost worth as much as all the backlog that this company currently has, which is very important because, as you've seen, this company is still burning quite a lot of cash each and every year, and this gives them another, let's call it, lifeline. Now, looking towards 2024, they said here that they already have 22 missions booked in 2024, with 8 launches in Q4. Now, they say that with 6 launches per quarter, the Electron is basically becoming profitable, which means Q2 next year for Electron is a profitable one, and then Q4 will be more than profitable. But if you want to offset, so let's give 1 for Q1, so that quarter becomes also profitable. So they will probably have 3 quarters next year of a profitable Electron launch. With regards to the outlook for Q4, we can see here another small increase quarter over quarter with regards to revenue. And then in Q1, another nice little increase in revenue quarter over quarter. Revenue is expected to be at $100 million at the midpoint, with space system revenue between $65 to $68 million, also an increase quarter over quarter. Of course, as this company continues to scale up, continues to ramp up production, continues to make production, manufacturing more efficient, margins should be better. And as they launch more and more rockets every quarter, every year, that business becomes more profitable as well, because they are also reusable rockets. As we've seen with SpaceX, if you can reuse the same rocket, well, you're saving yourself quite a lot of money. Now, what are the growth expectations for the coming years for Rocket Lab? So currently it has a market cap of $2.64 billion. Year to date, it's up 44.3%. Of course, as you can see, in the summer, it would have been up triple digits for the year. But the analyst estimates year-over-year sales growth in 2024, sales is expected to increase 70%, EPS still a loss of 21 cents. In fiscal year 2025, sales growth of another 43.8% with EPS to be positive 4 cents. Of course, since this business is quite volatile, a lot of things can change. Positive, but negatively as well. The last thing here, if we look at the charts, we can see that $4 range has been quite a good support line for the last year and a half or so. Now we're making our way back up over the 200-day moving average thanks to that huge announcement that this company got. But next up, it's going to take another 50% jump. I believe around $7 to $7.5 or so, we're going to face quite some resistance. Now, again, this is a company where it's pretty tough to evaluate it right now because of what might happen in the future. But what currently happens right now, yes, this company should not be worth $5, $10, $20 billion based on its current book of business. Yes, that $500 million contract for 2027 is a big one. But currently, with the backlog of close to 600 million, you're already giving this company quite a premium when it comes to price to sales. Of course, sales growth year over year is going to increase quite a lot. But there are also some risk attached to it. Just because SpaceX is valued at $180 billion right now does not mean that Rocket Lab should be valued at $10 billion or anything like that. But if this company does prove itself when it comes to successful launches, when it comes to Neutron, because this is the next big step for them. I believe Neutron in 2024 proven that it works, its reliability, the cost there as well. If that works out, yes, then expect this stock to jump quite dramatically because it is a large industry. It can become an extremely profitable one as well if managed correctly. And from what I've been seeing, they have a very, very good team there at Rocket Lab. So yes, if you want the next best thing, or the second best thing, should I say, because SpaceX, again, is not a publicly traded company, then yes, I would say that a small bet on Rocket Lab could turn out to be a pretty good investment in the years to come. But size that position correctly, because if it does not work out, then you don't want it to completely destroy your portfolio. So that will be it for this video. Of course, do share your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.